All right, Floyd Jarvis. Welcome again. I Never Knew TV and meeting in person this time.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Bless.
So thanks for coming down. You spoke previously how ganja was a benefit to the black community from a psychological, spiritual, and financial level. I quote what you said previously. Illicit legacy market operators were able to open up stores, open up schools, buy houses, and fortify their neighborhoods at home and abroad, right? This is the part you need to clarify for me. So during the 1980 presidential campaign, Ronald Reagan called marijuana probably the most dangerous drug in the United States today. Why do you believe Ronald Reagan made the statement at a time when heroin addiction was destroying many black communities?
The Hart-Celler Immigration Act of 1965 was the law that passed to open up the United States borders to non-white persons, non-European persons, non-Western Europeans. After 1965, you see persons from Africa, the Caribbean Basin, South America, Latin America, Asia, and Eastern Europe to an extent start to immigrate to this country a lot more. By 1970, Rastafari is in full force throughout the world. I was about to say Caribbean Basin, throughout the world, you heard? So once the mandem start forwarding, you understand? Like it's a wrap. You understand? The show start. So I said that to say, you asked me the question about 1980 and marijuana and Reagan, right? So Reagan went on a campaign, Reagan and the CIA went on a campaign to eradicate the ganja farms in the Caribbean Basin, whilst fortifying narco states, allowing a narco state is a state that sponsors narcotics shipment. You could call, watch this, you could call Jamaica a narco state in the 70s with the ganja, but other states turned into different type of narco states once Reagan put the hammer down on ganja. Now you have states bringing in cocaine, you understand? Which in the book Hamid says is a totally different type of economy. I hope I answered your question. I kind of went around.
Yeah, no, I delve a little deeper in regards to, like, it seems like they tried to kill the ganja market to increase the cocaine market.
All right. Now, we know what the ganja market did in urban communities, right? It fortified urban communities. The mandem with their so-called ill-gotten gains bought buildings, bought houses, both at home and abroad. They open up ITIL stores, they open up schools, they revitalize their neighborhoods. You understand? And in a crack economy is a polar opposite of everything that just came out of my mouth. You understand? So it was and is by design. You understand? We see a rise in the prison industrial complex post 1980, 1981. So yeah, it was by design.
So I've been hearing a lot of grumblings from people, right? That's saying that the Arabs kind of run the thing in New York. Can you explain how Arabs have taken control of the illicit ganja trade market in NYC and its impact on the communities with residents that are predominantly black?
So I knew anecdotally that the Arabs, particularly the Yemenis, took control of the cannabis market, but I knew empirically at the top of last year when I went to testify on the proliferation of illicit smoke shops in New York City at the city council. Testifying right before me was the Yemeni American Merchants Association of New York. I was like, whoa, I looked them up, YAMA, Yemeni American Merchants Association of New York. And they said that they are immigrants, and usually immigrants get news the last, so they want to be a part of the license. To me, they were faking and fiending ignorance to the law, but they didn't fake or fiend ignorance when it was time to switch over their corner stores to illicit smoke shops. You understand? The main thing for me is when you get, back in the days when you were making a marijuana purchase or transaction and you was getting it from a Herb Gates, a weed spot, a weed store, from a Bingy man, from a Rasta man, it wasn't, as far as I'm concerned, money transactions by themselves are inhumane. It's unhuman. You understand? When you bought herb from a Ras, it wasn't just that money transaction. You're getting a reasoning. You're getting a talking. You know this person was and is invested in his community, because he wasn't just selling herb. He was opening up an ITIL store. He was opening up a school. He was holding classes for children on a Saturday or a Sunday. You understand? You could find him in Prospect Park or whatever park. 1970s, 1980s, Rastafarian men, the sight of them were stabilizing factors in black communities. I could tell you that. As a youth, I saw that. I seen a Ras, I'm like, oh, he's different. I don't know nothing about no weed. You understand? I just knew that that man was different, and don't mess with him. But not no fear.
Just respect.
Yeah,
honor.
simple.
Yeah, glory.
Yeah, I like when I don't gotta talk. You understand? So now, as Hamid mentions in the book, with the changeover from the ganja economy to the crack economy, they're selling weed now. The Arabs, Yemenis, they're selling weed now like how crack was sold. It is even more inhumane, bro. I went in one shop, not to buy no weed, but to like a strong arm thing. Yo, here's my weed, sell it. And the guy, he didn't even look up because it's bulletproof. He didn't even look up. He said, that's the menu that I'm supposed to read from. I just boxed the glass, hurt my hand. I was like, yo, next time I come in here, don't do that. You understand? So they don't care about the community. It's an extractive process. They're not pouring in nothing to the community. The funds, they're going back to wherever they're going back. They're building mansions. They're not staying in the community. They're not opening up no health food stores. Like I always have to say, it is haram for them to participate in this business, but they're still doing it. That should let them know, let you know that it's a lust for money. You understand? They can't go to their imam and tell them that they're doing this. If they are, I let you be the judge. You understand?
Where are they sourcing their herb from?
They're not sourcing it from upstate New York, legal cannabis. They're not sourcing it from Humboldt County. You understand? Much of the herb that's sold in illicit markets is coming from Oklahoma. The illicit grows in Oklahoma. You understand? And that's a fact. It's been documented.
Can you talk about the herb? Are you familiar with the herb being grown out there at all?
Oh, yes. As far as I'm concerned, the herb grown, so there's 3,800 illicit farms in Oklahoma, and that are operated by Chinese nationals. As far as I'm concerned, 3,800 illicit cannabis farms in Oklahoma are a direct response to the 100 years of humiliation that the West gave to China, along with the Opium Wars. The Opium Wars was when the British wanted control of the Chinese ports, Shanghai and Hong Kong, and the Chinese stood up and said no. All right, they just flooded the country with opium and made mad dope fiends out of the men, which leads to the destruction of the society.
When did Chinese get into the herb business? Or from your knowledge, at least in the States?
Well, one would, let's say I don't know. Just look up when Oklahoma legalized. They legalized before New York. New York was 2021. I believe Colorado was like 2012, Cali 2014, so maybe 2017, 18, around then. Yeah.
Please explain to the people why you believe, right, or what is the reason Haile Selassie really started the EWF?
Well, it's not really I and I belief, it's facts. Ones on Ones could check out Jeff Pierce's book called Prevail, and it gives a detailed account of the workings of His Majesty from 35 to 41 in London and Ethiopia, as well as the United States. His Majesty sent his nephew, Malaku Bayen, to the United States to start the Ethiopian World Federation. What was going on at the time, there were a lot of mutual aid organizations for Ethiopia popping up, springing up all over Chicago, Harlem, St. Louis, Philadelphia, DC, all over urban centers in the United States, because it was all the rave, as to say. Ethiopia was the only sovereign black nation throughout the world, so everybody was going to Ethiopia. 20,000 soldiers, would-be soldiers, 20,000 black men signed up to go fight for Ethiopia in Harlem alone. The United States government passed a law saying that citizens of this nation cannot go and fight wars in other nations, just for that. Now, brethren, imagine that. Imagine if that law never passed. Just sit back and think for a while if those 20,000 persons went to go fight on behalf of Ethiopia against the beast of Italy and the Vatican. The Black Condor went over there, the Black Eagle, John Robinson and Robert, what's his name, the brother from Trinidad. They found their way over there, you understand, to help, to assist. So there was a lot of hustling, a lot of skullduggery going on behind Ethiopia on her name. So His Majesty sent the EWF over here. He said, this is what we're doing. There's a need, there's an urge. People want to help us. Sign them up. Once each local reaches 25 people, you form a new one. To ones-on-ones that didn't know, so 25 men in a platoon, you understand? Ones-on-ones don't know that. We were in war, you understand? So it was really warfare and government that His Majesty was setting up as far as I is concerned. You understand? To not make this happen again. Saying, since there's so much of us out here, all right, 25 here, 25 here, 25 here, 25 here. So that's how, and that's one of the reasons the EWF was started in the West.
I'm going to read a quote here from Leonard Howe, right? The Gong himself. It said, after my trials and subsequent return to the United States, I became attracted to the Rastafarites, and afterwards returned home to Jamaica to preach his tenets, right? I'm going to need you to give a brief history of the American origins of the Rastafari movement. Do that first. Just give us a little context based on your studies on the American origins of the Rastafari movement.
So here it is. When Leonard Percival Howell, G.G. Mirage, Gang Guru Mirage, First Rasta, Father P, was brought up on sedition charges by the colonial Jamaican government, and he was asked in 1940, in November, in the Daily Gleaner, he was asked, where did you get this doctrine from? He said what you said. He was traveling, and he heard of the Rastafarites. It's spelled Rastafarites in the Gleaner in 1940. He said he learned of them throughout his travels in the United States. So it would behoove ones-on-ones. As I forward up here, I'm reminiscing on my journey. It's about 20 years when I psyched up His Majesty. And during my earlier years, I was always looking for that link, because you would read about Garvey, you would read about stuff, and then for me, it didn't make sense, because I know I'm going around, but I'm a forward. 2 times the link could have been stronger was in 68 and in the 30s. 68 for me was but then CIA is involved already. 68 when they banned Walter Rodney in the Writers' Conference. That was a pivotal time to make the link between Canada, US, Caribbean Basin, and Africa. You understand? But they knew what they were doing. Well, they knew what they was doing both times. That's why they wrote the law to stop the man from going to fight in Ethiopia. You understand? So those were the 2 times. So in my studies, my research, I'm always delving deep into those times. So I started to look during the pre-war years of what was going on. And I bump into a man like Rasta the Killer. You ever heard about Rasta the Killer? You ever hear about Rasta the Murderer? You ever hear about Rasta the Assassin? All right, these were men in Harlem who were preaching on Speaker's Corner on 7th Avenue, pre-Howell, pre-war years, licking out against Babylon shitstem, pardon the eye. You understand? You know about Carlos Cooks? I heard about it. All right, Carlos Cooks, who many say is he's the link between Garvey and Malcolm. He was a young man during Garvey's time. And in the 50s, he recounts, I'm going to send it to you, one of Ross the Murderer's speeches. When you hear the speech, Because you know back in the days we talked a little bit more proper. But if you hear the speech, it sound like Capleton or Sizzler wailing out against the Queen.
All right, hold on. Ross the murderer, was he Jamaican?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Their names were spelled D-E. You should, so forget about Jamaica. Was he Caribbean? Was he West Indian? You understand? On the Ras the Killer, there's a picture of him where he's on a ladder on 7th Avenue, Speaker's Corner. His name is spelled R-A-S, there's a space, D-E space K-I-L-L-E-R. Ras the Killer. You understand? So he could have been from Jamaica, he could have been from Antigua, it could have been from anywhere in the Caribbean basin.
Did you ever find out how he got his name?
Well, that is, you understand? He got his name the same way Grover Redding got his name. He got his name the same way T. Ras McConnell, the funder of the Pan-African conferences, got their names. Because for I and I, it's a call. You gotta hear the call. You understand? So I know I'm all over the place, but once Redding heard the call from Rastafari McConnell, who was regent plenipotentiary, who sent emissaries by ships, as prophesied, to the United States to renew a treaty of friendship that Ras Menelik II signed after the Battle of Ottawa. In the Treaty of Friendship, it said equal cross-citizenship and equal transactions between states. So Redding looked at this and was like, the hell with this over here. They hanging us and got Jim Crow, and this person, Rastafari, is saying we have equal cross-citizenship. And then, during that, folks really need to study the envoy that came to the United States that Rastafari McConnell sent when he was regent plenipotentiary in 1919. I think Prince Nardo and two Attos were here, about at least 4. They asked one of them, what do you think about discrimination in the United States? And he said that this is who Rastafari sent, because he wasn't His Majesty yet. He said, I think it's very brutal. We Ethiopians don't agree with it, and the Negroes in America should keep fighting. You understand? Redding heard that. He held his parade. I don't know if I mentioned this in the last thing. In the envoy in his parade, they found guns, a lot of ammunition. And during his trial, he said that he was going to ride down to Dixie to free American Negroes. Radical. They wasn't on no, you understand? And this part here, I don't know if I told her this. If ones on ones were to Google, research, or look up the famous last words, just look up famous last words of death row persons. I told you this? You're going to look up famous last words of persons on death row. One of the top 10 names you're going to find is Prophet Grover Redding in 1920 from Chicago. By the trial time, he wasn't responding to Grover Redding. He had gave himself an Ethiopian name. I don't know if it was Ras Prince something or whatever he chose from his calling that he heard after he read the treaty. You understand? They asked him, what are your last words? And his last words were, I have something to say, but not at this time. That was his last words. I have something to say, but not at this time. So you tell me, what was it that he had to say, but that it wasn't ready to say?
All right. So the brethren you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Ras the Killer and all these other people, were they Ethiopianists?
So, yes. Full stop. Now all right, from what I described to you from Grover Redding, not Ras the Killer, Ras the Murder, Ras the Assassin, who were in Harlem in the 20s. I'm talking about Regin in Chicago, who, a part of that treaty, he started his own, what do you call it? Local or sect or group of the Star Order of Ethiopia. You heard of the Star Order of Ethiopia? Star Order of Ethiopia is man like Dunkley and Hibbert gonna know about Star Order of Ethiopia. He started his own Star Order of Ethiopia. in 1919, and to join the Star Order, he was selling pictures of the regent plenipotentiary Rastafari. So he burned the American flag, hoist the Ethiopian flag, pledge allegiance to the Ethiopian flag, and was selling pictures of Rastafari.
All right.
The only thing he didn't say or do was declare, well, that's why, there you go, brother. He couldn't, because it wasn't ready at this time, because he was not the power and the might of the Trinity as of yet. He was Rastafari. So he couldn't declare like Howell and Hibbert, or depending on who you want to believe, Miss, what's her name? Harvey. You heard about the Harveys? Read Leonard Hill book. We gonna get to that. That's why he couldn't declare him as divine.
All right, question.
That's what he had to say that he couldn't say as yet.
The question I have is now, right? Do you believe if Leonard Howell never spent time in America and never got that exposure, would he have had the conviction to pursue Rastafari the way he did? Because I hear so many things. I hear about the Indian influence. Obviously, we hear about influence from all these other groups. But it seems like his time in America played a pivotal role in kind of getting that insight on certain ideas that he wouldn't get if he was just in Jamaica.
Yeah.
One could argue. I know if you go on the esoteric level, probably say spiritually, somebody probably would have got there anyway. But just from a certain level, it just seems like, yes, he used inspirations from Jamaica, you know, the Indian vibe, the Pocomania, the Christianity, but it just seems that time in America really sealed the deal for the movement that he really pushed forward.
Listen, if I could forward, I'd choose 1910s, 1920s Harlem, Chicago, because you in the belly of the beast, which is the Mystery Babylon, United States, Britain, the whole link. That's Mystery Babylon, right? And but there's a fight going on to aid your cause. And then there's the Harlem Renaissance. There's all these things happening. You understand? So all of that created the environment within Howell's mind to create this, because as I mentioned, he is in Leonard Howell's book and D.A. Dunkley's article, The Suppression of Leonard Howell by the British colonial government from 1930 to 1954. It says that he was running a drugstore. They say drugstore, Jamaican folk medicine, and tea room. Leonard Howell.
Like a root shop in a sense, and he's selling kind of herb, yeah.
Well, we don't.
Herb tea.
But watch this. What else did they find in 1940 on Howell's property at Pinnacle? A big ganja operation. So I want somebody to look me in my face and tell me in the 20s it wasn't no ganja. He wasn't selling ganja in Harlem. There's a picture of old Harlem. I'm gonna send it to you, where they have they show you where the reefer dens, opium dens, what was it called, viper dens. There's pictures of black men selling it all. Here's where you could find them. You understand? So all of that led to the development of Rasta. And when Howell went forward down to Jamaica, him along with Dunkley and Hibbert helped to put it together. Because I'd be remiss if I just, you understand?
Dunkley and Hibbert both spent time in America also, right?
No.
No?
No. All three of them were in Panama, Costa Rica. I know Howell was in America. I'm not sure if, I don't know if Dunkley and Hibbert was there, but I know Dunkley and Hibbert were seamen in Central American side, and all were in Costa Rica. Costa Rica too. So watch this. So to your question, do I think if Howell was in America, whoop, 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 Costa Rica is a very important place, because we do know that all three of them, Dunkley, Hibbert, and Howell, and I'm leaving out Hines too, did spend time in Costa Rica. Costa Rica is connected to Panama, and like I mentioned in the Renaissance, Harlem Renaissance, a lot of things were happening
And
at
Garvey
the
was
Panama
big down there
Canal.
in Panama too, right?
Exactly. As I'm looking, Garvey was down there also. So you gotta remember to get out of Harlem, Jamaica, wherever, and be at sea, like that was like a big job. You understand? You're somewhat free. You could be able to talk with other learned men and share and exchange ideas, and that's what was happening. That's what happened.
What's up with this K2 that's going around?
Well, I don't know if it's still going around, but I can tell you this. In 2014, the New York City Council held a hearing, several hearings on the proliferation of corner stores selling K2. And them same chaps that we was talking about was at the hearing. You understand? So it's the same people selling vapes that was selling K2 back in 2014. Same persons that don't give two fucks about our community.
So hold
Pardon
on.
me. I'm holding.
Hold on, no. I know the K2 put you way out there, right? So were they knowingly selling people K2? All right, this is the question: did the people buying it know they were getting K2, or they thought they was getting regular herb, or they knew they was buying K2?
To me, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The persons who had it, who had the pack, knew what they were doing. You understand? And they knew that shit is destructive. You feel me? So, if somebody's over there trying to be an objective observer said they don't know what they're doing, they didn't know what they were doing. Now you see them in 2014 selling sprayed weed, fentanyl in the frontal leaf, and these vapes to your children, like.
Right, they got fentanyl in the frontal leaf now?
Not in the leaf, sorry, in the grabber. Forgive the eye, in the grabber. Yeah.
Hold on, man. Let me be clear, yo. People are putting fentanyl in grabber right now?
You gotta understand. When the hydrins, when this illicit cannabis market from cultivation to distribution to processing to sale was controlled by Rastafari, right? There was people could hate or not, you understand? There was purity in it on a level. Now, when there's a lack of that, bro, if I tell you what I know, you understand? Listen, the easiest place to get a license is Oklahoma. You know who running Oklahoma right now?
Arabs?
No, the Arabs is over here in New York. Chinese nationals have the most illicit ganja farms in Oklahoma.
Oh, that's where New York getting the herb from now, Oklahoma?
You feel me?
So when did the Chinese start growing herb in Oklahoma?
Watch this though. I like to say forget about that, so I'm gonna say forget about that. But for I, Chinese nationals growing herb in Oklahoma is a response to, part of the response, just one part is a whole heap, if the eye follow it, is a part of the 100 years of humiliation from the West when the British forced opium on them in the Opium Wars. That's how I have it. Nobody can tell me otherwise. Along with everything else we could name. But that right there, yeah.
I know you're the director at BMCC, right? Cannabis Workforce and Business Development Training Program. I know you guys do the Cannabis Security Solution Training, Cannabis Retail Dispensary Associate,
Yes.
Cannabis Manufacturing Technician Training, and eventually providing associate degrees, right? Question I have is, are people who are locked up for cannabis still incarcerated?
Are people who are locked up for cannabis,
Who were locked up for cannabis?
who were locked up for cannabis, still incarcerated? Cannabis what? Sale, distribution, like
Say possession.
possession. Oh no. Nah, possession, that was part of the law. I think it's Penal Law 221.0 and Penal Law 221.05. No, those are expunged. That's part of the cannabis
They were
law.
expunged too?
Yeah.
All right, that's survived then.
That's part of the law.
What about for distribution though?
Distribution, I'm not sure.
What opportunities exist for those who were incarcerated for possession of marijuana to receive a license to legally grow and sell marijuana in NYC?
An abundance of opportunities. So the law, MRTA was crafted with persons, individuals, and communities that were disproportionately impacted in mind, right? I've been arrested. I just went to with 320J, yeah, for my certificate of disposition. So if you want to know if you've been convicted of a cannabis offense, go to that county and get what is called a certificate of disposition, right? The law was created for these persons in mind. Me, Floyd Jarvis, I purposely didn't work. I forsook a legal job, a legal check for 3 years because I was waiting for this industry to pop off. And I told myself, when it does pop off, they got to pay me, which they're doing now. You understand? So I could be in a position like this chair and the chair at my office when brothers and ones ask questions. Can they get in the business? How they get in the business? I'm here for that. You understand? So persons convicted of cannabis offenses do have first rights, first dibs to what is called a card license. CARD is an acronym, C-A-U-R-D, Conditional Adult Use Recreational Dispensary License, right? My brethren, Howard Miller, big ganja man, you understand? So I like to make it tangible because a lot of the ones they like, forget about that, it's not real. You know, they don't trust government agencies working for I&I. They can't even fathom that, right? My brethren, Howard Miller, tomorrow, he's from the Bronx, he's opening up 2 buzz dispensaries, him and his brother. This is 2024, January 22 or 23, can't remember. He came home off a 10-year bid. Federal bid, but the state picked it up, so his sentences ran concurrent. So while he had a Fed number, he had a state number. So he qualified for that. He's opening up. I don't know what more they want. It's real. Like, is that real, that tangible, that simple?
Can you, for those watching who are interested, can you just briefly break down the process of what they need to do to put themselves in that position, or who they need to contact?
Well, I would say contact I&I, but contact the institution that employs me, the Borough of Manhattan Community College. We are part of the technical assistance program offered by the New York State Office of Cannabis Management. Now, the Technical Assistance Program is a program geared to open up the New York State cannabis market. The state wants more small businesses, more persons to apply for licenses to help create more jobs. There's a lot of money in this industry. So they released a grant called a Technical Assistance Grant, and we're a part of that grant. And beginning in, I want to say, like May, June, we'll be starting our technical assistance program with 3 parts: persons that are new that want to get their license, persons that already have their license are in the November queue, December queue that are looking to build out and operationalization, and the third part is persons that are in our security course or our dispensary management course, their entry into the market. And it's a bunch of info sessions. Telling you about the MRTA, Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act, telling you about cannabis law, helping you to be compliant, helping you to keep your license, not just sell it for 3.4 mil. If somebody come tell you, I got 3.4 mil for your license, true say, you went to jail and you have this little piece of paper, you supposed to know, so that work 10-20. You understand? So hold on to for you and your family.
And where do you source your herb from? Are you locked in to buy from a specific place, or you can buy it from anyone when you get that license?
Great question. You have to buy it from New York State growers. So the OCM started a program called the CCTM program, where a legacy market operator is a person who cultivated, distributed, processed, or sold marijuana for at least, some people say 5 years, I like to say 10, 15 years to really differentiate, for at least 10 years pre-legalization for a majority of their income. I'm gonna give it to them again. I want them to see themselves, because it's a popular word now. A legacy market operator is a person who cultivated, distributed, processed, sold marijuana 10 years pre-legalization for a majority of their income. That's the manda. OCM started a program for these persons to report anonymously their work and how they did. And those persons received, enough of those persons received cultivator license. So it's not just Tom, Dick, and Harry growing. You understand? Some of the article mandem is growing and they could source it from them.
Are they providing any funding or any assistance to set up your operation?
So The TAP program, Technical Assistance Program, yes, that's one part of assistance. They had the CCTM program, that's another part of assistance. Funding is going to come by way of the Cannabis Advisory Board. There another grant for about $250,000 for organizations is gonna come out to offer more help to dispensaries and persons looking for license as well as enter the business. So the OCM is offering help in funding, but they could do a lot more, as well as the governor.
And the next thing with the herb now, like who's regulating growers with herb in New York in regards to what they put on the herb and how the herb is grown?
Well, the state Office of Cannabis Management. When someone wants a liquor license in New York, they have to go to the SLA, the State Liquor Authority. If you want any type of ganja license, whether medical or anything I just mentioned, you have to go through the State Office of Cannabis Management. So yes, the office is regulated by the Office of Cannabis Management.
All right. Many people are concerned about the quality of herb being circulated, right? And as a man who has great experience, what advice would you give people that when they do purchase herb, it is quality and beneficial to their mind and body instead of being detrimental to their mind and body?
Different question. Beneficial to your mind and body as opposed to detrimental to your mind and body. So if you want to be beneficial to your mind and body, don't cop from no Zaza shop. Don't cop from no smoke shop. Don't cop from no corner store. You understand? Because those are places of convenience. I made a post the other day that said the #1 driver of crime in the city of New York is smoke shops, delis, not operated by legacy market operators because there's no rules and regulation. The person operating it don't respect you, and our community don't respect them, rightfully so. So you understand? So if you want some herb that's good for your mind and your body, do like they used to do back in the days. Engage with the Ras. Because when you go to cop from the Ras, you got to talk about something. You're going to get some type of, you understand? As simple and as...
You say you're going to get a reasoning?
Very simple, bro. We make things so hard. You're going to get a reasoning. You understand? And that is what came with the development of the ganja economy, as Hamleen says in the ganja complex. It says these young men, right, that were hell-bent on committing petty crimes, young men still do, drinking alcohol, young men still do, revolution, I don't know if we have that revolutionary spirit still, they became prudent, successful businessmen and paterfamilias, male-head of households through the illicit ganja.
But the only thing I'll say to that is that, one, there was a market to profit from, so to generate money to do the things like provide for yourself, provide for others. More than anything, I think they were smoking a different type of herb in a different type of environment.
Well, the environment.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
The environment, yeah.
Because the herb now is just like, and I'm not generalizing the herb, I'm just saying what I've been observing. Whatever the teenagers are smoking now, psychologically they can't handle it.
Yes, and because the persons who giving it to them though they don't care about them, they don't care about their well-being. You understand? So it's the way herb is sold now is like how crack used to be sold, not how herb used to be sold prior to crack coming out.
Explain.
Meaning, in the ganja complex, Hamid talks about the difference between a crack economy and a ganja economy, meaning that a ganja economy is not slow, but slower than the crack economy, which would it was more slow, steady, and constant, which would make a man more prudent, which would make a wayward man more prudent, because you wait, all right, this is coming, as opposed to crack, where it's quick, fast, and that person may or may not be willing to do whatever they need to get that hit. Then everything breaks down, all morals break down. So now, when these merchants,
man is different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When these merchants have control of the marijuana distribution, they're treating it the same way as crack distribution. There's stores, I don't know how it got glass in front of the store, but it have glass in front of the store and they changed the name. But the name used to be Fiend City. You understand? They were selling ganja.
For herb shopping called Fiend City?
You heard? On Flatbush Ave. Like I said, I don't know how the glass set up in the store, but Shortly after that, the name changed. You understand? Is one operating on Church Ave with the name Fiend City, but I'm pretty sure that the name soon changed.
This is the illicit vibe.
The illicit,
All right.
not Legacy Market operated.
For Legacy Market now, with the illicit, I know we said earlier, I just want to get clarification of the people watching. Are they getting herb also from Cali, or they mostly getting the herb from the Oklahoma link?
The Legacy Market don't mess with Oklahoma. True Legacy Market operators, they need that Humboldt stuff. You understand? So if you want quick, fast, like a crack economy, you're going to go to Oklahoma.